It's one thing to launch a wine brand, it's another thing to time it so tactically, or as some say, so tastelessly, that it ignites fury across royal circles. Meghan Markle's newest business move didn't just turn heads, it boiled blood. And the person fuming the most, Prince William, because this wasn't just a random launch date. Meghan's expensive new Rosé line made its debut on Princess Diana's birthday, the very day that symbolizes loss, legacy, and emotional gravity for William. Now imagine waking up to headlines not about your late mother's charitable spirit or tributes, but about alcohol. Let that sit for a moment. Prince William that Meghan has launched an alcohol brand on his mother's birthday, the very mom he lost in a drink-driving tragedy. For context, Diana died in a tragic car crash involving a drunk driver. Alcohol was literally one of the central causes of the accident. So when Meghan decided that was the right date to promote her SipHer wine launch, you better believe it struck a nerve. It is so tone-deaf. But I'm not surprised because everything this couple does is tone-deaf. Everything they do just reeks of hypocrisy. And not just with internet watchdogs and royal fans, but with William himself, who according to inside sources saw it as a calculated slap in the face. Now the official Kensington Palace line claims William doesn't even pay attention to Harry and Meghan anymore, but let's not be naive. Behind palace walls, people talk, phones buzz, and when it's about Diana, the gloves come off. William reportedly feels Meghan has crossed a sacred line. He's learned to ignore the noise until it touches his mother's memory. And this stunt wasn't just noise. It was a sick echo of the kind of attention-grabbing drama that the Sussexes seem to thrive on. But here's the darker twist. This wasn't a fluke. According to reports, Meghan planned this launch for Diana's birthday. She even briefed Hello Magazine about it, clearly proud of the timing, which means this wasn't just insensitive, it was intentional. Meghan once again found a way to weave herself into the Diana narrative. It's something she's done repeatedly. Name-dropping, comparison, symbolic gestures, all things that keep her brand glued to Diana's memory. And it's not just this one instance. There's a pattern here. Diana's memory is used like a prop. Meghan and Harry have leaned heavily on it for brand building. From documentaries, interviews to podcast moments that reference how similar Meghan's experience was to Diana. But the wine launch crossed into territory many think is unforgivable. Because Diana's death wasn't just a media tragedy, it was personal. It scarred William and Harry's lives forever. For William, it's sacred. For Meghan, apparently, it's just another marketing hook. To make things worse, while William marked the day quietly with a milestone for Homewards, his homelessness initiative inspired by his mother's work, Meghan was out there turning Diana's death date into a backdrop for selling overpriced rosé. We're talking $90 for a trio of bottles made in a vineyard Meghan's never even stepped foot in. And yes, people noticed. They noticed the disconnect. They noticed how Meghan made the day about herself, and this is what stings most. Meghan now has an annual excuse to pop up on Diana's birthday. Camera ready, glass in hand. It's not just marketing, it's strategy. A yearly opportunity to hijack media attention. All under the guise of honoring the late Princess of Wales. But everyone knows what it really is. A twisted brand play. A move that feels more like exploitation than tribute. And William, well, he sees right through it. Behind the polished royal poker face, there's real anger. Quiet, composed, and boiling under the surface. Because this wasn't about a wine label. It was about his mother. And some lines once crossed don't get uncrossed. For years, Meghan has tried to build her brand on a foundation of carefully curated symbolism, charity-driven optics, minimalistic aesthetics, female empowerment buzzwords. But lately, the veil is slipping. The rose stunt wasn't just another tone-deaf marketing move. It peeled back a layer and revealed something far more calculated. Meghan doesn't just want relevance, she wants royal relevance. And Diana, whether Meghan admits it or not, is the only card in the deck that still plays well globally. Prince William knows this. He's watched it happen in slow motion year after year. First, it was the tribute interviews, then the docu-series, the inspired by Diana photo ops. Even Meghan's wardrobe began to mimic his mother's iconic style. The public may dismiss it as harmless, but inside royal circles, it's viewed as obsessional mimicry. Catherine, Princess of Wales, has especially felt it. Sources close to her have said privately that the level of copying from scents to outfits to even the way Meghan poses for photos is bizarre. Meghan's latest jam and honey line Orange Blossom, Catherine's signature fragrance for years, also Orange Blossom, is not just about products. Meghan has report A. What baffles insiders even more is how public Meghan's hypocrisy has become. Take, for instance, the infamous Emma Gred interview. Meghan tried to position herself as the underdog actress who struggled to get roles because of being biracial. But Hollywood insiders have been calling that bluff for years. Meghan didn't struggle because of her background. She struggled because her acting was at best passable. The only role that stuck was Rachel Zane on Suits. And even that, according to producers, worked because she was essentially playing herself. Emma's face during that moment said it all. Confused, slightly skeptical, like she didn't fully buy it but still trying to protect the narrative. The same way every Meghan interviewer has learned to tread lightly, but Meghan's inability to read the room. Or maybe her refusal to turn every polished sit-down into a train wreck waiting to happen. Even when someone's trying to help her look good, she finds a way to twist it, and then there's the infamous swing photo. A beautifully filtered, perfectly framed image of Meghan on a garden swing, clearly intended to echo a beloved shot of Catherine swinging with her children. Except Meghan's version looked like it was ripped out of a catalog, heavily edited, staged, too perfect. The original image of Catherine had dirt on her knees, sun in her face, and that unmistakable vibe of a real moment. Meghan's filtered to the point of looking unreal. William, for his part, has tried to stay silent through all this, but those close to him say he's had enough. The Diana card being pulled again and again, especially in this commercial way, isn't just irritating, it's cruel. Meghan's moves don't read like tributes, they read like invasions. William never needed to brand his grief, he just carried it. And watching someone manipulate that grief for visibility, that's the part that's impossible to ignore. When news broke about the late Queen's private thoughts on Meghan and Harry, it added a fresh layer of betrayal to an already fractured story. According to revelations from Lady Elizabeth Anson, one of the Queen's closest confidants, the Queen never believed Meghan truly loved Harry. That wasn't speculation. That was the Queen's own opinion, reportedly shared in confidence before her passing. And if that wasn't enough to rattle royal loyalists, it turns out Harry had berated his grandmother on a phone call before the wedding. 10 full minutes of fury aimed at the woman who had carried the family through decades of chaos with poise. This wasn't just a grandson losing his temper, it was the beginning of a pattern. Harry, once viewed as the cheeky, lovable royal, was now spinning into someone unrecognizable, backed by a woman who seemed more focused on optics than actual relationships. Together, they bypassed royal protocol, going over the Queen's head to speak directly to the Archbishop of Canterbury about their ceremony. The Queen, as head of the Church of England, was left blindsided. That level of disregard didn't just bruise egos, it dismantled trust. People close to the Queen say she really tried to give Meghan a chance. But Meghan never played by the rules, and not in a rebellious Diana way, more in a calculated, self-serving way that placed her goals above the family's values. The Queen could handle rebellion. She had decades of practice. What she couldn't tolerate was exploitation. The Queen's quiet disapproval eventually turned into quiet distance. Still, out of respect for her grandson, she never publicly shamed them. But those close to her saw the hurt, the disappointment, and perhaps the deepest wound of all. Watching Harry, her once beloved rogue, turn his back not just on the monarchy, but on her. The woman who protected him after Diana's death, who helped cover up his scandals, who made sure he had a place even when he didn't deserve it. It's this accumulation of betrayals that now leaves Harry standing in a no-man's land. He isn't fully welcome in the UK. He isn't fully respected in the US. And his wife's constant need to revive their relevance through royal proximity only tightens the noose. Every public jab, every merch drop with hidden references to Diana or Catherine makes a future reconciliation even more unlikely. Royal sources say William doesn't hate his brother, but he's done. There's no olive branch coming because this isn't about petty arguments anymore. This is about legacy, about the memory of a mother who meant everything, and about a brother who let his wife turn that memory into clickbait. Catherine, too, has had enough. She's been dragged into this circus despite doing everything by the book. From Meghan mimicking her fashion choices to echoing her family traditions like homemade jam and farmers market photos, it's felt less like coincidence and more like stalking. Meghan even used orange blossom, Catherine's favorite scent, for her honey line. For the royal couple, it's no longer flattering. It's creepy. And yet Harry remains silent, at least publicly. Privately, insiders say